Right, so the year of truth has come, and it's like a fucked up video, and my eyes was gone into a pulpit, like my muscles were all fucked up. I was laying in bed like a twat, not one of those ostrich twats. One of those twats that just doesn't give up. It was like I was actually experiencing what it was that God was doing before I came here. And I was basically in the 80s, and I was in some city, and I was like in a buoy, and I was like one of those mods in the 80s, and I was like really inspired by like what's the fuck's that called? It's like new romantic music. It's all mental. And then I was like in a dream that I had where it was happening and it was real. Like last night I had a dream, stuff like that was real, but it was about modern times, and it was like I was in my body that I have, and I was listening to some kind of music that was going out on the urban area, and I started singing it, and then someone in the neighborhood heard me singing it, so they stuck it on the stereo, and they put it on the stereo, and it was so loud, like the stereo was so loud that it like travelled throughout the city. It was like in a suburban area, like it was somewhere in the US, like, and it was like I just started singing this chorus, like, yo, something I can't even remember. It was something like about a big dog or something. And it was American, and it was like urban, and it was like, I think, I'm not sure if it's even a song or I just made it up, but my soul was getting somewhere. And then today, someone got a radio, like someone got their stereo out of storage, and it had a pat test and everything, and I mean, they already had a pat test, they didn't need to get a new one, so they stuck it in the wall. And when they stuck it in the wall, I'd just realised how to reverse the aging process, like a few seconds with like a few, what are those things that don't exist? It's like one of those 3-minute jobs. One of those 3 minutes before, I'd just learnt how to reverse the aging process. And then I heard this guy getting angry saying, give me my fucking stereo, you cunts. It's been tested, it's been pat tested. Just fucking give it here. Then I went to help out, so I come up the corridor to help out, and he just said like, it's well, I watched it. I thought maybe I have to give him my radio because I got a radio and I got a radio that's been pat tested as well. And so I came up to give it to make sure he got a radio. And then he proved it to him. He said, just look for the fucking plug, not that plug, different plug. And they found the plug and it had a pat test sticker on it, and it said like it didn't need to be updated for like 10 months or something. So they said, okay, just have your stereo, but don't turn it up too loud. So that was like the dream that precursed it, like that morning before I learned how to reverse the aging process, when I was really falling asleep and having this dream that I was falling asleep, and it was like I really thought this song existed, and it was sort of like went big dog, big dog, big dog, and then this fucking it was like I thought it was done by. It wasn't like Rage Against the Machine. It was much more like newer than that. It was by a black guy, and he'd just done this ratchet kind of song that just started off big dog, and then it went into this like. What happened next in the music is what happens in the song is it just goes like really a bit like fuck a bit like what are those fucking bands that we could like stereophonics, not stereophonics, like what is that band that everyone goes, yeah, it's like it's not cyberpunks. It's not cyberpunks. It's that band that goes like, oh, what the fuck is it? Oh shit! I said I wasn't gonna swear anymore. No, fuck that. No, I'm still trying. So maybe if I go like down, oh yeah, Cypress Hill. So it was a bit like Cypress Hill, but it wasn't like that because the actual singer who was singing it, he was like completely like black, and he was like proper respected, even though I didn't know who he was. It was just in the dream, I knew who he was, and he was singing it like that. And then I started singing it out loud in my neighborhood, like out the window. I was living in a uprise, like one of those semi-bungalow. I was living in a I was living in a tower block. And I was like 7 stories up or something, and I started shouting out the window, big duck, because I knew this song, and I was singing this song. And I think, no, I didn't have this song on, it was just in my head. And I started singing this song. And then someone in the actual neighborhood who was actually black and actually probably was the one who first introduced me to that song. Some say 4 blocks, no, not 4 blocks, say like 30 meters away or something from a different tower block. I just started hearing this actual song come on that I'd shouted out the window. So shouted this song out the window, and then some guy actually put it on the stereo, and it was like going, fucking, that's the exact song I was singing. I don't think it's an actual song. I think it was just a dream, but it was like, it wasn't my invention kind of thing. Like, you can say it's my dream, I invented that song, but nah, I think it's much more influenced by someone else, and maybe that song, maybe it does exist. Nah, I doubt it, but it was like a fucking, well, when I was dreaming, I thought, yeah, I know this song, but I think it was like more modern than now, and it was like, well, it was a bit fucking good. And I tried to look it up on YouTube Music when I woke up. I typed in Big Dog, and I just come up with this really sort of ratchet shit music that, I mean, sounds kind of similar, but it's not going anywhere. Like, that song was starting to go somewhere musically. Like, that song started off like Big Dog, Big Dog, Big Dog, but then it was, and it just got harder, and it just got like more like an anthem, and it was more like the effect of Cypress Hill that we used to have, and but it was more modern, and it was a different band, and I thought maybe they're singing Pig Dog, not Big Dog, so I typed in Pig Dog as well, but when I typed in Pig Dog, I just got this really cool drum and bass song come on, and I couldn't find anything that sounded like what I wanted, like how I heard it. So I just enjoyed this drum and bass song after I woke up from the dream, and that was very urban as well, and I thought that if you just type in Pig Dog as one word or something in YouTube Music, it comes up with this drum and bass song, and I like that. And then after about 5 minutes, it changed. Then it went on this other song, and that other song was fucking crap. I had to turn it off. Like, after I realised, after about 2 minutes after it had been on, that it was getting really annoying, I had to turn that shit off and put it back on the first song, which was by the same group, called Pig Dog, but it was like Pig Dog HD or some shit. But what I'm missing was the fucking city. It was like the city like atmosphere of everything, and I was in this dream, and it was an American city, and maybe a fantasy American city. Maybe it wasn't a city that actually exists, but it was like my dream. So that's what was going on yesterday, and today started getting this other dream, and it was all based in England kind of thing, but it was all like 80s. It was all modern 80s, like late 80s, and I think we was in London, but I could have been mistaken, that we were up and coming like music artists doing weird music, and I don't think it's actual history. I mean, I think it's history, but it's all like a bit fucked up with a new. Nah, it's not new. I think it's history, but it's a bit like it's not all just history. It's not all history. It's got some history in it, and it was about the 80s and how I was going pretty mental. Let me pause this because there's someone, alright. Someone was staring at me, alright. Let me go back into this. I don't think I'll be able to go back into. I'm gonna try and go back into this dream. It was the 80s, and someone really hurt me. There was a singer who was quite famous. She got really famous, and then she went weird, and then I got involved in her life, and then her life got even weirder. Then she became less popular while she was while she got in my zone, and I was fucking up like mental. And what she was like a singer, a bit like Bjork, but not that status. More like someone with more like a status, like I don't even fucking know him. It's more. I don't think it's an actual woman, but maybe it is an actual woman. But it was more like someone like Kim Wilde or someone really, but all fucked up on drugs, just like that type of personality. And I wasn't part of the fucking main. I wasn't in the. She was the main headline, and I was this side. I had this, because I used to have this famous uncle. It was like I was me in this dream, maybe. But I mean, I was my body in this dream, but it was the 80s, and I had this little story about something, this little bit of fame, like how not my fame in real life. I mean, in the 80s, I had this little bit of fame, like I was singing this song, and it was I think I was like the devil, but let me pause it. I'm gonna explain it in a really weird way. Like, she was this girl I fancied the fuck out of, and I was like, blah blah. I was after her, and she'd done this really weird song, and I thought, fuck, and that inspired me to, or maybe the song was about me, and I felt like really, that was really thanks to her. And then I was singing my own song. Maybe it didn't come out. It didn't actually come out officially. I made a little tiny weird video, or maybe I didn't even make a video, but this woman heard how I was singing this song or something. And she just knew it was really weird and interesting, and I was wanting to become famous and using her as like the woman who could like catapult me into fame. But she lost the confidence in me because she was getting fucked. She was getting that thing that happens, like she was getting heckled. Like she was more respected before she came out with this weird shit. And when she came out with this weird shit, she was really enjoying it as she was singing, as she was making this video. She made this video and really enjoyed making it, and it was weird as fuck, like a Bjork song. But it was like it was like romantic, 80s romantic music. And we're in London or something. And then there was this other guy who came before her, who was even more like, people knew who he was. I can't remember the dream, but the dream was more dreamy than I feel now. Now I don't feel so dreamy. I sort of want to feel dreamy like that, so I remember the dream, because that dream was like me in the 80s, of how I nearly came to fame or something as someone else. Fucking hell though. What am I saying? I forgot the point I'm trying to get to. Well, the point I'm trying to get to is this, like, I was experiencing myself as this guy who was only like really young in the 80s. He was only like 17 years old or something in the 80s, and he was a fucking weirdo like me, and I'm fucking weird, and I just want this video to get weirder, because it's boring when you wake up and then you realise you're just trying to remember how weird something was. But I've got to change the direction of the video.